On Wednesday, April 21, live on Main Event, an all-Aussie heavyweight showdown between two men who've taken vastly different paths to get to this point. Former NRL superstar turned undefeated heavyweight boxer Paul Gallen and the former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Lucas Big Daddy Browne. Lucas, Paul, please take a seat. Welcome to both of you, and thanks so much for agreeing to do this. Just want to start by asking the pair of you, there's been a lot of animosity, not just over the last few weeks, but in recent years between the pair of you. Do either of you know where that started?
I think it come from Lucas, to be honest.
So probably from his mouth.
I'm not sure what I've ever said bad about Lucas. I was actually a Lucas Browne fan back in the day. I went to watch him fight a few times. I remember when he fought the Commonwealth title overseas, I did everything I could to go and watch him, but I think we played the same night, ran into him at the airport, so I was a Lucas Browne fan back in the day. But I think when I started boxing, he took exception to it because I'm the footy player, and I think it's you running your mouth more than me running mine.
Very cool. Can't argue with that.
Do you take exception to Paul Gallen's presence in the sport of boxing?
I think footballers in boxing is great. I think the fact that they bring attention to boxing, it's all great as well. I think there's a massive discrepancy between the pay side of things, and that's the only thing I get upset with. So the fact that I've won a world title, but he can fight 4 2-minute rounds for over triple that, that's what pisses me off. Basically, that's it.
What is that, do you think? Is it a little bit of jealousy from
Yeah,
Lucas?
without it, and that's all boxers are the same. They all say we're in the sport and we're disrespecting the sport. At the end of the day, it comes down to one thing: the bottom line. That's what you care about, which I'm glad he admitted. But that's what it's about. 4 2-minute rounds. I don't know what fight that was, but I have fought some 2-minute fights. Against Hopper was one which I wasn't happy with, but anyway, that's the way it is. I signed the contract, as you signed the contract for this one, and we're doing it. But the bottom line comes down to one thing: the eyeballs that watch it. And if you're a band, you play at a pub on a Friday night, you get paid accordingly. If you're a U2 and you play in front of 100,000 people, you get paid accordingly. That's just the way it is. Yep. Guys like Tim Zhu have embraced it. He's jumped on the back of it. Now he's headlining cards around Australia. So I would urge all boxers, any boxers out there, embrace it. Don't hate it, just embrace it. Get on board with it.
That might be the case, that's the point of difference here, but it's boiled over significantly. There's been a lot of things said. Just looking through some of the recent social media posts, dog, coward, bitch, these are all words that you've thrown at each other. That seems to be sort of next level.
Yeah, I don't like what he says. Most of the time, most of the things that come out of his mouth, I don't appreciate, don't like. So I get a chance to punch him in the face. That's great.
What are the things that he says that you don't like?
Just general, like I'm a bum and he's got better things to do. Like he's got better fights to come up with and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm the best heavyweight Australia's ever had. What better fights have you got other than myself? You know what I mean? And how am I a bum? But just little things like that. Bigger
money fights is what I meant by that. Bigger money fighting, possibly Sonny Bill, maybe Barry Hall rematch, guys like that where I earn more money. That's what it's about, and that's what it's about for me. I make no apologies for it. One thing I learned from Mark Hunt is he called himself a prize fighter, and which is what I am. I had a conversation with him after it. I had a coffee with him. We chatted it out and nutted a few things out and shook hands at the end of it. But one thing I learned from Mark Hunt is I'm a prize fighter. I'm there to have interesting fights against interesting people and make money. That's what I'm there to do, and I make no apologies for that. And I don't think I've ever dogged a fight or not had a fight people want me to see. People want to see, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. When I was playing footy, I could only fight once a year because I was doing another sport. Now I've retired, I'm 12 months retired, took on Mark Hunt, now I'm taking on you. Big fight people want to see. It's a big occasion for myself. I don't, I'm going to bag you for your boxing ability. I think your boxing ability has been great, but I do think, I look at your record and you take out the 2 blokes who beat you, there's not anyone else in that record. Probably Shagoyev. That's a big fight, world title. But there's not a lot of other guys I wouldn't fight on that record.
Fair enough. I got no problem with him boxing or anything like that. One of the things, again, I have an issue with was, for example, when you fought Barry Hall, the fight after that was one of the Maloney brothers fighting for a world title. Now, most venues that they turn the TV off after the the whole fight, you know. So that's a disrespectful to.
Is that my fault?
No, not your fault at all, mate. Not having a go at you. I'm just
so
saying.
why you got the shits at me about
this
that
is
fault?
Aussie. This is Aussie boxing.
Yeah, and you've done nothing but ridicule and bag Aussie boxing because of that. Mm-hmm. And I did an interview today about it. Now, but who would have known the Maloney brothers unless me and Barry Hall are there promoting it? And I think we're doing good things for boxing. I think we're doing good things for it.
I said you were.
So what give you the shits about that then?
I just don't like your head, to be honest.
So you haven't got a real lot of smart things to say. You just say stupid things.
That's good.
You mentioned what Paul Gallen has done so far in his boxing career. Has there been anything he's done that has impressed you?
He's not a boxer. He's a fighter. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I say this, you basically look at like a Rocky story. Apollo Creed was the boxer, Rocky was the fighter. There's nothing wrong with being a fighter. It's just the fact that, nah.
Do you consider yourself a boxer? Like really?
No.
Yeah, thank God.
No, I don't. No.
Thank God, because you're not a boxer. You've got power. You've got big power.
I can box.
I don't believe you can box.
But I actually
don't believe you're a boxer at all.
I prefer brawling.
Yeah, you are. You're a fighter. So don't be calling me a fighter and I can't box because you can't box. And you've won a world title, a so-called world title. So let's nut that world title out for starters. You won a world title. I'm not trying to take that away from you. WBA regular title. You weren't the super champion.
No.
So don't be carrying on.
Still a world title.
Yeah, but you know what it is, mate? It's like a bloke. Let me bring it back to footy because that's my game. It's like a bloke winning a reserve grade comp and then walking around and telling everyone he won the comp. Like as in he won the NRL Telstra Premiership. You didn't win that. You didn't win the super title. You're not in the same league as Fury and blokes like that. So let's not carry on like you are.
Okay.
You have to have a response, Lucas. That's the moment of your career so far, and he says it's worth nothing.
No, it's not worth nothing. It's an achievement. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but you were not the WBA super champion. You weren't the champion of the world.
The people that have also won that belt are Lennox Lewis, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, stuff like that. So again, he can say anything he wants. Doesn't mean anything to me.
Let's have a look at some vision of Paul Gallen's most recent fight against Mark Hunt. I'm sure that you were watching this fight, or at least you've caught up on it since. There were moments that Paul looked badly rocked, but he recovered and he won this fight. What did you make of it watching?
So unfortunately, I think Mark Hunt was way overweight. So he is who he is. He's a great fighter and everything else. But at 128 kilos, you can't be expected to fight at the pace in which Gallen's going to bring. So that was unfortunate. And when he did rock him, he didn't sort of capitalise on it either. So I was wondering what was going on in Mark Hunt's mind, to be honest.
This seems to be the section of the fight where Mark Hunt had his opportunity. He hit him with that big right hand behind the ear, followed up a little bit later on with the left hook. But what would you do, Lucas, if you had Paul Gallen in that situation, hurt as he was?
Basically, the word is swarm. Just swarm them. I've never... once I've rocked someone, it's over. That's it. You smell blood, it's gone. So, yeah, the best word to describe it would be swarm.
You must be proud watching this vision back. A massive win for you against a combat sports legend on a massive stage.
Yeah, it was a big night. Obviously, everyone knows who he is and what he's done. But it was a big occasion for myself. I trained hard. I got in the ring. I was nervous, but I was confident at the same time, and managed to get the job done. I'll be honest. I thought I won most rounds, which he obviously got me the good punch in that second round. But I composed myself and I come back and handled the rest of the fight.
Did you have to prove to yourself in that fight that you could take that big power? Did getting through what happened in that second round give you the confidence to take this fight?
Oh, no, not necessarily. Look, this, as I said, once I finished footy and I wanted to move on to box for a couple of years, I'm happy to take interesting fights, and this is an interesting fight. I'm happy to have a look at it. So whether I won or lost that fight, I'll still be here, to be honest with you. I don't want to take shots like that. I don't want to feel his power. I don't want to stand there and feel it and let him punch me. I don't want that. I'm going to do everything I can to avoid that. But knowing that I can take somewhat of a shot gives me confidence, but I don't want to test my chin. No, I don't want to be standing there copping big shots off big blokes, which is what I did there and which I don't want to do against Lucas.
Let's have a look at Lucas Browne's power, because he's knocked out a lot of people with some very big shots, most notably in that world title fight, but plenty of others as well. That's the right hand that won you the world title, Lucas. Can you still punch like you could back in 2016?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, without a doubt. It's just a little bit smarter. Like as you get older, you get, especially in the heavyweight division, you get a little bit lazier as well. So it's more about a chess game and picking the right shots rather than just going stupid and throwing as much as you can. So the shots that will come out will be precise, but yeah, there's still a lot of power behind them.
And we just watched those moments when Paul took the shot against Mark Hunt, and you talk about swarming. What do you think happens in this fight if you can pick him off with one of those shots? Do you think you can finish the fight?
100%, without a doubt. I think I can. Yes. Yeah, it's the heavyweight division. Generally, everyone can punch pretty hard. You know, what I mean, that's the whole beauty of being a heavyweight and people watching the heavyweight division. So, from my point of view, if I do land one flush, it's going to rock him, and then I'll just follow up. Yeah.
What did you make of what we just saw from Lucas? Those big shots.
Yeah, the big shots he can punch. He's got power. There's no doubt about it. I'm not trying to take that away from him. And as I said, I've watched a lot of his career, and I know he's got power. But a lot of those guys stand there. A lot of those guys stand there for them shots. They don't move a lot. I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to be a sitting target for him. And that'll be the difference. That'll be the difference. I'll continually move. If he catch me with one of them shots, that's when he'll try and go after me. But as I said, I'm not going to be there for him to catch me.
You've had some significant knockouts yourself, most notably the John Hopewadi fight that we saw end in the second round. Do you think you have the power to worry someone like Lucas Browne yourself?
Oh, look, I'm pretty honest with my assessment. Yeah, probably not. I don't have that one punch power that a lot of guys in the heavyweight division have, or as Lucas has. But you know, I have the ability to keep throwing punches. You know, not non-stop, but I have the ability to keep throwing a lot of punches. And if you accumulate those punches, that eventually can happen. And you know, if I get the opportunity to do it, I will. But if not, you know, I'm happy to win on points. It's not a tough guy contest. It's not about proving how good you are, how tough you are. It's about winning the fight, and that's what I'm planning on doing.
What do you see here, Lucas?
I see a guy who's basically relentless, and that's a great thing. You know, it means he's going to keep coming forward, which is good, and it plays into a lot of things that we've been working on and stuff as well. So you can't discredit his gas tank in any way whatsoever. And as I said, he's a fighter who's just going to keep coming forward. So full credit to him, but that's great.
Do you feel you're disrespected in Australian boxing given what you have achieved internationally? It would indicate, your social media would indicate that you do feel that way. Is that the truth?
Definitely to a point. At the same time, I'm very outspoken, and a lot of people don't like that as well. I call it exactly how it is, and as I said, a lot of people don't like that, but that's who I am. So I'm never going to change it for any reason.
Do you think there's anything else that has contributed to that? You've been involved in some controversy, quite a lot of controversy. Do you think that's contributed?
I think obviously media has its place and everything, but once someone sees something on TV, it's gospel. Yeah, I've had 2 failed drug tests. So one was, I basically was in Chechnya, got tested 3 days before the fight. Why would I then take clenbuterol to strip 3 days before a fight for a test that I paid for personally? So I knew it was coming. So I was clear with that, everything else. The second time was just me being pretty stupid, actually, going to a shop and saying, give me the best pre-workout you've got. So that was the second failed drugs test. Now, I look like a 2-time drug cheat when I really haven't done a thing at all. So I see the perception. I realise where the perception comes from. Unfortunately, I haven't done what it's perceived. So, yeah, I do feel a bit bad about that.
Do you think the fact that you didn't get your just desserts out of the victory in Chechnya because of what happened, because of it being tainted, is that why you have this bitterness towards people like Paul who come in and take some of the spoils in boxing in Australia?
Yes or no. Like, again, let's be honest. Like, it's an element of jealousy, 100%. You know what I mean? At the same time, it's just, I feel I've been hard done by, yes, and I want part of the spoils. Like, I've become a world champion, and yeah. He's fighting 4 2-minute rounds for 3-4 times more than what I got in the actual world title.
I don't think I've had 4 2-minute rounds.
The whole fight, yeah?
No, for that was 6 2-minute rounds. And mate, I agree with you for that one. I agree with you for that one. I asked for 3-minute rounds. I wouldn't do it. But, you know, I signed the contract, so you know, I've got to live with it. But for every fight, I've wanted longer rounds. This is probably the only fight where 10 rounds, as Lucas put a post up the other day, was never discussed to me. Never discussed to me at all. It was always going to be 8 or 6, and then, you know, we'll probably go into it soon. I've taken a pay cut. I've taken a pay cut to make this fight happen. A significant pay cut because your promoter won $100,000. Now, I've taken that pay cut to make it happen. So anyone who thinks I don't want the fight, or anyone thinks I'm dogging it or I'm not up for it, I'm taking less money. And I know he will say, oh, it's because you're getting all the money. Well, as I said, mate, it comes down to eyeballs. If I'm the one bringing the eyeballs, I deserve the money.
And at one point, Lucas, you did offer to fight Paul Gallen for free.
For free.
I fought both of them for free, yeah.
That's right.
Where did that go?
Yeah.
Both on the same night.
Where'd that one go?
What happened with that?
That was both on the same night, yeah. It is what it is. As I said, we're prize fighters. We don't do it for free.
Well, so you're a prize fighter too now?
Hey?
You're a prize fighter
It's called
too?
prize fighting. It is, yeah.
Right. You put up a post the other day that said, don't talk about the money, it's not about the money. It is about the money then.
It's 100% about the money.
Yeah, good, fair enough.
Without a
At least
doubt.
we're on the same page.
No,
there.
without a doubt, it's about the money.
There did have to be some hurdles cleared in order for this fight to be made because of contracts that you've signed in the past. Are you at all grateful to Paul for helping that process along?
Yeah, of course. I was supposed to fight. I was contracted to fight Fosso in April, and then Hooney in July. That was through Dean Lonergan. All was sorted, and then it come up and said, we possibly fight in April. So that then become a Dean and Matt Rose issue. And then they've sorted it out through Paul and all the rest of it. So if it didn't go ahead, I was still fighting Fosso no matter what in April. So yeah, from my point of view, it was basically up to the promoters to sort themselves out after that.
Why did you decide to take that pay cut essentially to make this fight happen?
Well, look, I'm earning good money. I am earning good money, and this is the biggest paying fight I can have at the moment. We sought Barry Hall. We asked a question of Barry Hall, and Barry Hall asked for significant more money than he got last time, which is ridiculous because he doesn't sell. So that wasn't an option, and we're in footy season. So none of the other footy boys can fight. So there's no other option. So Lucas is the biggest card for me, the biggest option for me at the moment as far as money goes. And I said from the start, I'm not going to sit here and say I'll fight anyone. I'm not scared to fight no one, but I will have a crack at anything if the bottom line is at the right number. And the bottom line, while it's not exactly where I want it, it's still better than what I could get anywhere else. And that's where we're at the moment. And it's an interesting fight. People are interested in it. He did win a version of a world title. He is well known across Australian boxing, even in the world, and it's going to be a big occasion and a big fight for Australian boxing in general. And I hope the other fighters on the undercard get the exposure they deserve, and we put on a good show for the main event.
You mentioned that he won a version of the world title. We've talked about it a couple of times, but let's have a look and a listen to Lucas Browne beating Ruslan Shagayev in Chechnya for the WBA regular world title.
With a smear of blood on the forehead of Shagayev, but I think that's come from Lucas Browne's wound. Oh, big left hand. He just teased him with the right, followed through with a big clubbing left hand, and Lucas Browne is down with 30 seconds to go in the sixth.
Definitely, because I think with the emergence of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, also we have. Oh, good! Oh, what a right hand!
Wow! Right hand from Lucas Browne, and with a minute to go, Shagayev is on the canvas. He's taking his time getting up. 7. He looks wobbly. He doesn't know where he is. We could be on the cusp of a shock here in Grozny. Right hand again. He's in trouble. Lucas Browne goes for the finish. Uppercuts. Referee has a good look. He's staggering back against the ropes, which appear to be keeping him up. He steps in. Lucas Browne has done it. Oh my word. Can you believe it? The unthinkable, the miracle has happened right before our very eyes.
Lucas, we know everything that happened after that fight, but just watching that vision back, how does it make you feel, knowing you achieved that?
It was all taken at the same time. So I'm very proud and everything that I've achieved, but at the same time, I never got to celebrate it in any way whatsoever. So, yeah, within a week or so, the call came through saying the drug test come back negative. I never actually got the belt on the night. They said they'll mail it to me, stuff like that. So after, it was almost a year through courts and backwards and forwards, all the rest of it, I eventually got the belt. So it was cheapened somewhat, especially being in Cheshire as well. They didn't really celebrate it with me. But yeah, I would have liked to have celebrated it properly.
So does this fight against Paul Gallen in front of this big audience here in Australia, where you're from as well, does it give you a chance to get that the joy out of the crowd that you deserve that night?
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, I think I'll probably get more known for boxing in Australia for this fight than I will the world title. And again, that's just Aussie boxing for you. But it is what it is. Yeah, the media storm behind it and everything that Paul brings as well. So I'm grateful for it, and I think it's going to be good fun.
Paul, I guess we have to look at the Barry Hall fight to some extent because he was a 6'5" opponent. You're going up against Lucas Browne now, who's the same height. It did appear at stages in that fight you struggled with the taller opponent, even though you got a controversial draw. Maybe you won the fight. Do you think that taller opponent is a tricky prospect for you?
Not overly. I spar a lot of the taller guys. Everyone I spar is taller than me. I spar some guys, 6'4", 6'5". There's one guy 6'7", so I can handle that. I do my work on the inside. The Barry Hall fight, he grabbed me every time. Now, you're not allowed to grab in boxing. Everyone does it when you get hurt and once or twice, but if you continually do it, you get warned, you eventually get points taken off, you can eventually get disqualified. Now, he was warned from the first minute of that fight, in between rounds. I actually got the warning letter off the Combat Sports Authority about what I said on the night, so I don't want to go back there, but you're not allowed to do what he did in that fight. You're just not allowed to do it. It is what it is, can't change it, but the height, look, he's got the opportunity to catch me coming in, there's no doubt about that, but I can combat that and I can get around it.
Did you see something in that fight, the Barry Hall fight, that cemented it to you?
I won't be hugging anyone. It's not my style, you know what I mean? So I fight inside, yes, but I won't be doing the hugging side of me. As you said, it's just not legal, so why do it? So yeah, there'll be inside fighting as well as outside fighting, but I won't be hugging anyone.
What sort of a fight are we going to see then?
I honestly think it's going to be, because it's a 6 rounds as well, I think it's going to be very fan favoured. 2 fellas just punching on. It's going to be great,
You're upset about the 6 rounds. It came out last week that you'd prefer 10, but it was discussed earlier, wasn't it, that this was going to be a 6 round fight?
Again, we didn't speak personally. I was told that it was possibly for like a Aussie title or something like that, which would have been 10 rounds. So that was what was in my head. So when they come back and said 6 rounds, I'm like, oh, okay. So I was thinking this whole time it was 10 for an Aussie title or something like that. It basically just means that I don't sort of sit on my jab and box as much as I would just get in there, and more of a sprint rather than a marathon,
Do you have a financial offer to Lucas to make it?
I said if you want to give up the 100 grand, I'll go 10 rounds. I'm the one losing 100 grand, so if you want to do that, I'll go 10 rounds.
I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought you would be.
What sort of a fight do you think we're going to see?
I agree with you, man. I don't think he's a great boxer, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm a great boxer. I've got to go forward anyway, regardless, because of the height difference. So we'll be in slugging away. I won't be standing still. I won't be standing still for him to load that right hand. I've watched video of Lucas. I know he's got a couple of good punches in that right hand, but you watch that footage there against Shagalev. It's 90% right hand that hurts you. I've got to work on staying away from that, not getting caught with it, and that'll come down to movement. But I'll pressure him non-stop.
When you've watched that footage, what fights in particular have shown you that you can beat Lucas Browne?
Look, I thought the Hopper Wade fight actually. I know that was that your last fight. I think that was your last fight. Now,
sadly.
Now Hopper actually caught him, and I think Hopper sort of hurt you in that first round at one stage.
I was told to take it easy on him, so I did. And then he come out at me, so
I didn't know that, but Hopper hurt him at one stage, which backed him up. But poor Hopper threw about 3 or 4 punches after that and gassed out himself. So. Yeah. If you're told to take it easy on him,
unfortunately I was, So, I won't be doing that in this fight, that's for sure.
What about the Dave Allen fight when Lucas went to the UK, boxed for the first couple of rounds, then got stopped with a body shot? What did you make of watching that?
Look, that's again went for the big right hand, and Allen slipped under it and got him with a good left body shot. Which, that's where I punch. It's going to be a great height for me to punch there, but I don't go in with any preconceived plans about what's going to happen. We don't necessarily do that. We have an idea of what we want to do and what we want to stay away from, what we want to go to. But I'm not going to say I'm going to aim for his right hand side of his body all the time. I'm going to get in there and fight and see what happens. I've got to react. A lot of it, boxing is reaction. People want to have a plan, but the plan doesn't always work.
Who'd win a fight between the Dave Allen that you fought and Paul Gallen, do you think?
I think it'd be a good fight, to be honest. They both got decent chins, as you said. Dave Allen's got a great chin, and that's the reason I boxed him rather than sort of going at him sort of thing. The plan was to sort of box him first and then sort of put some more pressure on in the later rounds. Unfortunately, I got caught. 20 seconds later, I was completely fine, but you only get 10. So I think, again, that'll just be a barn burner. There's two fellas just sitting there punching on, so it'll be great.
We'll finish up very shortly, but is there anything that you want to say to each other? Have you got any words for Paul? This might be the last time you see each other before fight week, and I'm sure there'll be a bit going back and forth on social media. So while you're both here, is there anything to say?
Lucas loves social media.
I do.
You do.
It's good fun.
Posted about me 3 or 4 times the other day. It was Valentine's Day too. I was getting a little bit worried.
It was actually
I know,
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
3 times in a day, but
So do you want to get any of it out of your system now, rather than filming the videos yourself?
I'm here to win this fight. It's a big occasion, big fight. You know, I've respected what you've done in boxing. I think you know I was a fan of yours at one stage. You know I went and watched your fight a number of times back in the day.
Come on, you're still a fan.
I'm there to beat you, mate. I'm there to beat you.
No, we can have dinner the night before.
And I'm confident.
Yeah.
I'm really confident this is a fight that can show I can fight and I can handle. Now I'm not going to say I can handle anyone because I'm not like that, but you know, I can handle a lot of guys in Australia, and I think I'll handle you, and I think I'll win.
I've had dinner the night before, so we've gone away in, had dinner with the guy, and I'm knocked him out the next day. Like, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? We're both going to go in and try and punch shit out of each other. That's fair enough. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact is, like, I respect him for what he's done in rugby, all the rest of it. Go Para, by the way. But yeah, it's just it is what it is. He's doing what he can do. He's making the money. Good luck to him. Well done. Excellent. But we're gonna fight and we're gonna punch on. It's gonna be great.
Prediction: how does it end?
Oh, look, as I said, I don't believe I've got the one punch knockout power to hurt him. If I can hurt him at some stage and swarm him, as he said, I will, but I'll win on points. I'll win the fight regardless.
I hate judges, so it's just going to be a knockout for sure. I'll either go out on my sword or I'm knocking him out. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, for doing this. We look forward to Fight Week and we can't wait for this fight. They have now met, and next they will fight on April the 21st. You'll see it on Main Event.